What's up, everyone? Thank you for tuning in to Oilers Nation After Dark. Connor Halley. I got Waz alongside with me. We've got Brandon producing us here. And thank you for tuning in. Oilers Nation After Dark, as always, presented by Boston Pizza and the playoff menu powered by Fanalytics. All sorts of good things you can go there. The Oilers won't be in the playoffs anymore, but you can still go to BP's, enjoy it, have some beers, drown your sorrows. The Oilers losing 5-2 tonight to the Las Vegas Golden Knights, and in the process, losing the series 4-2. We'll break this one down as we typically do here on the program. Of course, if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Appreciate it. As always, hit that like button and we'll talk it out. I know there's a lot of disappointing things in this game that we'll have to feature. So we'll get through it, though. We will get through it. What did Ted Lasso say? The only thing worse than losing is being alone. We got each other. They lost, but we got each other. Was our first thing. Let's get to the good, the bad, the oily. Brought to you by Cornerstone Insurance. Cornerstone Insurance Brokers, Edmonton's premier boutique insurance brokerage with over 90 years of success and still growing. You can visit cornerstoneins.ca to get an online tenant or condo insurance quote in just a few minutes and use discount code NATION for an exclusive rate. Find out why Cornerstone Insurance Brokers are ranked amongst the best in Alberta. And we'll start off with the good. And I specifically told Brandon, just leave it blank. I don't think Oilers fans want to hear about the good right now. I
was thinking of the good, and I'd say, the start. The start was great. 2-1 lead. We got back, and then it just... Yeah, nothing else after that.
Yeah, 100%. And Alicia says on Facebook, the bad, no good today. You know what? It came up in the NBA, right, with Giannis Antetokounmpo, and when the Milwaukee Bucks were eliminated, and the question was asked, was the season a failure? And he said no, and kind of gave a rant on it. But at the end of the day, for 31 seasons or 31 teams in the NHL, the season is going to be a failure. So for the Edmonton Oilers, that's not what they wanted. They were hoping to go on a good run. Full credit to the Vegas Golden Knights. Very good hockey team and deserve to beat the Edmonton Oilers in this series 100%. But yeah, for right now, we'll just hold off on the good. We will go to the bad. As you can see, the season is over. It sucks. I will tell you, was working on Oilers post-game shows for a long time on the radio side of things, I wanted the season to end. Like, it was the decade of darkness. It sucked.
Yeah.
The last couple of years, I don't want to see it end. I want it to be prolonged, go into June. I want to see a cup run. So for the Edmonton Oilers, tough way for it to all wrap up. The way it all happened. We'll get into it more here on the show. Morgan, the profanity on the Facebook chat. Calm down, buddy. Your team won. Be happy, but hey, come on, man. Season's over. I don't think too many of us, the way things had gone, I'd hope it'd be a little bit longer.
Yeah, it feels very strange, disappointing, all of that. For me personally, it doesn't sting as bad as when we lost to Winnipeg in the first round of 2021. But also, I don't feel as proud of this team like I did when they got swept by Colorado last year. It's very strange. The West was wide open, right? There's no excuses. The Oilers simply did not play good enough. In every department, they didn't bring enough. The Vegas Golden Knights, full credit to them. They did what they needed to do. In my opinion, you can't even blame the refs. Sure, the refs missed, a couple calls here and there. That's going to happen in every series. But ultimately, if the calls aren't going your way, get it done 5-on-5. The Oilers didn't do that. And I'm not going to blame this series loss, this Game 6 loss of one person. It's the team that lost the game. The team lost the series. This is on the team.
100%. And yeah, we could debate it. If you're an Oilers fan, or I would say an impartial fan, you probably want to see that high stick on Matthias Ekholm called. The rules will be debated. I know I had someone, I don't know how, they found my tweet, they slid into my DMs to tell me, how do I cover hockey if you don't know what a follow-through is? I always thought that was, with a shot. There wasn't a shot there. Still a dangerous play, and the refs didn't make the call. If it was, in fact, a follow-through and, the ref knew that immediate, good on him. He's got spidey senses. But you typically, when you see a stick go right into a player's face, go back to Oren Fogle. I don't know. Was that a follow-through and he was trying to dangle? It just seemed a little iffy for me. We'll get to the oily here as well. And for the Oily today, it's kind of a carryover from the bad. I believe I had failed season ?
Yeah.
I mean, the goal for every team, and obviously the expectations for a good chunk are not going to be win the Stanley Cup. There's going to be the teams that were obviously sucking hard for Connor Bedard and all that sort of thing. But for the Edmonton Oilers, I think they were one of the handful of teams that expected to go all the way. And I kind of want to transition this into the chat, and we'll ask you as well, Waz. Is this a failed season for the Edmonton Oilers?
I would say so, yes. And I hate to say that because I like to be optimistic. I like to be positive. But when you have Connor McDavid putting up the numbers he was in the regular season, 155 points or whatever it was, Leon Draisaitl, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, all these top six players that we honestly expected to produce just as much in the playoffs, that clearly wasn't the narrative, right? So 100% failed season after the season they had. And, I don't know what went wrong. That's the thing. I'm trying to figure out what went wrong going into the playoffs. The LA Kings, that was a good competitive series. The Golden Knights, maybe we underestimated them just a little bit, right? Like, I think I remember before the playoffs, we were saying, oh, we'd prefer to have the Golden Knights over the Kings.
Yeah.
And, credit to the Golden Knights. They played a very solid hockey game. Sure, there's some players we don't like Pietrangelo. I can't even think of anyone else that pisses me off, but it's just we got outplayed. The Oilers just didn't bring enough.
And yeah, I mean, we talked about that. That certainly was a storyline going into the playoffs. Yeah, you hope that the Oilers can take Vegas in the first round because the Kings are going to be tough, and the Kings were tough.
Yeah.
But Las Vegas, that's a good team, and I think we'll give them a little bit of credit here. They finished first in the division, and they had goaltending issues throughout the entire season. Injuries, obviously, Robin Lehner, who they thought would be the guy, wasn't there. Laurent Brossoit. They have Aiden Hill. They trade for Jonathan Quick. Like, they had goalie issues the whole season, but they found a way to get the job done. I mean, I feel like most people would say if the Oilers are going to go up against Aiden Hill or Laurent Brossoit, they have a pretty good chance of winning. But the Vegas Golden Knights did a really good job. But I don't think the Oilers are without blame here. I mean, 5-on-5, they were not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
You go back to the game a couple nights ago. These days are all blending together. Friday night, when 3 goals in 90 seconds, and you can say the officiating was bad, but the proper call was made to make it a 5-on-3, and the Vegas Golden Knights made the Oilers pay. They didn't get a save when they needed one. The goaltending was not good enough. You're not going to win a Stanley Cup with a performance that Stuart Skinner had. Young goalie, will get better, but just wasn't good enough. 5-on-5 play wasn't good. The last 2 games after 20 minutes, they were leading 2-1. And then in the second period, the Vegas Golden Knights outscored the Oilers 6-0. So, I mean, the Vegas Golden Knights bounced back strong, and got to give him credit. Cassidy, heck of a coach. Enjoy listening to him speak. He's kind of almost the opposite of Jay Woodcroft in his press conferences, where he'll just say anything. He'll ramble. He'll talk about both sides of things. Jay Woodcroft kept everything close to the vest. But for the Vegas Golden Knights, a good one for them. We'll head into the chat here and take a quick look. See what
the chat is fired up, and fairly so. If you're fired up, I don't blame you at all. Let it all out.
100%. It's a safe place here. We've got some of the Vegas trolls coming in here.
Yeah.
That's fair. Their team won. They got that right. I'm sure some Oilers fans did it to Kings fans after the first round. Daniel says, did Pietrangelo / mess up Draisaitl? He was quiet after. Maybe. I mean, he didn't miss any time. This is kind of the funny thing, though. Now, in the next couple of days, we're going to find out what happens. Who was injured? What was Zach Hyman's problem? What was Connor McDavid's injury, if he had one? What happened to Leon Draisaitl? All those sorts of things. Yeah, and it really does open up an interesting offseason. Owen says that on Facebook. Michael says, you sound so pathetic. Michael, I apologize. I'll try to get better here and fix that going forward here. But, just a lot of people all pissed. Pats fan says, sums it up very well. The Dr. Carpy... Well, go ahead.
I have one positive way to look at this all. And if we take a look, I always like to use like past teams as an example. And I know we don't like looking at the past, but if you look at the 2021 Colorado Avalanche, who won their division that year, they were cup favorites, and they got bounced in the second round by the Vegas Golden Knights. And I remember, Nathan McKinnon had that post-game press conference, and he was like, I'm tired of this shit or whatever. And, next season after that, they went on to win the Stanley Cup. So for whatever reason, I have more confidence in the Oilers going next season to win the Cup.
Grace on Facebook says, I'm not pissed, disappointed, but not pissed. We've got, has anyone noticed every game in the second period, the refs decided to determine the game? I mean, the reffing in the second period, I thought in the first period it was nice, right? No calls, like just let them play. Could have been some calls, but they swallowed the whistles. Then in the second period, tough little transition there. There was the no call Stone on Vinny, and then Yamamoto on Howden gets called. But then it was a bad call on Shea Theodore as well. So it was kind of like an even up call. And then Matthias Ekholm with a hit from behind. And, that it was just like you just erased it. The refs, maybe they were trying to clean up. But no, I mean, there were some questionable calls, but I think it went both ways in this series. And I don't know. I think everyone's going to be upset about the refs, but when it comes down to it, I think that, you certainly have to look at the man of the mirror sometimes. I think we got Gavin here. Gavin, are you going to hop on with the guys here after this one? You were down at the game. I'm not too sure. We might have Gavin hop in here.
I know Michael says, why do losing teams always cry refs? Well, the thing is, the refs didn't miss calls. You can say that, but the Oilers didn't lose because of the referees, right? Like, you can say both. It's fair. The refs have been poor throughout the NHL playoffs, not just in the Oilers series, but in multiple series, right? Like, for example, when Jordan Eberle crushed Andrew Cogliano, right?
Broke his neck.
Yeah, exactly. Something should have been called there. So it's not just on the Oilers, right? It's a league-wide issue.
Yeah, and I mean, Gray says every team blames the ref. It's a fact. Every team does. But I didn't think the calls were great. Like I said, there was 2 back-to-back bad calls on both teams.
We didn't lose the series because of the refs. We lost the series because we simply were not good enough.
Yeah, and you know what? I saw it pop up here in the chat there. Too many passengers, and I think that's certainly a fair way to look at that for this team. Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. McDavid finishes with 8 goals, 12 assists, 20 points. Draisaitl 13 goals, 5 assists for 17 points. And I mean, Evan Bouchard. I mean, Oilers fans, it's going to be an interesting contract negotiation for Evan Bouchard and see how they handle that. I think the bridge deals with Darnell Nurse probably shows you don't want to go down that route, but in 11 games, 4 goals, 13 assists, still a minus player if you put much stock into that one, but took some strides offensively. Hyman, although a slow start, finished with 4 goals. 3 goals. Nugent Hopkins, I mean, that's going to be a guy who I think it's going to be a long off season for him. But it was not his best performance, and just factually, he didn't have McDavid and Draisaitl playing with him for a lot of the time where he did in the regular season. But you want to expect more from him. Evander Kane chipped in with 3 goals and 12, probably not enough. Klim Kostin was a bright spot, 3 goals, and Barry playing like 7 or 8 minutes per game. But yeah, you kind of hope there'd be some depth scoring throughout this lineup, and it didn't really come. Warren Fogle, a couple goals.
Yeah, Warren Fogle, you mentioned scoring there. It's weird. I found that the line that created the most chances was almost aligned with McLeod, Fogle, and Derek Ryan. I feel like they're the ones that really showed up when it mattered. Sure, the top 6 sort of did as well. McDavid tried to score, and credit to Aiden Hill. He was a brick wall at the end there. The Oilers are firing everything at him, and he stopped it. And we got goalied at the end, and the Oilers needed that. The Oilers needed Skinner to goalie the other team, right? We needed Skinner to steal a game, and it just simply did not happen.
Chat's going crazy. 300 people in there right now. Make sure you hit that like button while you're all paying attention. Wilhauk Beef Jerky, shout out. Best beef jerky in Alberta. You can find them at one of their 3 locations at West Edmonton Mall, Leduc, or Spruce Grove, or find them at wilhaukbeefjerky.com. Also want to give a quick shout out to the fine folks at Greta. Of course, they hosted all the Oilers Nation watch parties. Always a good time. There's a pop-up shop where you can get the shirts, you can get the gear. If you want to do that, you can also check out nationgear.ca. Some fantastic stuff there. Nice hats, hoodies, shirts, etc. But the watch parties at Greta were awesome. Still a great place to go watch playoff hockey. I know we're Oilers fans first, but we're all hockey fans. So if you want to get out, watch some good playoff hockey, you can check out Greta and get your table. Book it now at gretabar.com. As I mentioned, chat going crazy here. Second line was lousy. Some stranger says Uncle Iros says Draisaitl went AWOL in the last 2 games. Yeah, we'll see if there was any lasting effects from the Pietrangelo slash. He also says didn't know RNH was playing. Yeah, RNH, Hyman, Nuge, who I just said.
I mean, I wouldn't be
Kane.
surprised. Sorry, Connor. I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of players were banged up and maybe just couldn't bring their all. But like, you also don't want to use that as an excuse. And I do like how some of the folks in the chat are commenting. I think Woodcroft could have coached these playoffs a bit better. The way that he was utilizing his lines, the matchups. On Oilersnation.com the other day, we had a great article of how Vegas was using the Eichel line against the Nick Bukestad line, and they were just outplaying them, outscoring them, right? Like, it's just, I think Jay Woodcroft may have to take a look in the mirror and say, hey, what could have I done better with our lineup?
Yeah, I mean, there was questions I had for Jay Woodcroft, and maybe we'll get the answers. But certain times after scoring a goal, putting out another line that might get the momentum back, putting out certain players, starting the game off with certain lines. I mean, I'm a believer McDavid or Draisaitl should be out there to start every period. Best players in the world, get them out there. We're going to bring in Tyler Yaremchuk now, Oilers Nation Daily Faceoff as well. And Yaremchuk, you're at the game tonight. Pretty disappointing. You're going to that second period, you're up 2-1, and then for the second consecutive game, you blow that lead and you give up 3 goals in the second period.
Yeah, well, let's crack our post-mortem beers here, Connor.
Do it.
Really sink our teeth into this thing. There's a lot to, I mean, Captain Obvious, there's a lot to not be happy about with the way this season ended. And, there is a part of me, and maybe this will come more a little bit in the next few days. You lost to the number 1 seed in your conference. And I definitely am someone who did not give enough respect to that Vegas Golden Knights team. I thought the Oilers could make this a close series. I'll stand by the take that, the Oilers had the ability if they would have shown up to make this thing a close series. But, it's not like you lost to the 8th seed, right? It's not like you lost in round 1. You still won a round. You went somewhat deep in round 2. But the goal for this team is no longer just, putting together a few wins and gaining playoff experience. The goal for this team is winning Stanley Cup. So ultimately, anything short of a Stanley Cup or a Stanley Cup final is really, really disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, and give Vegas the credit. Great players on that team. 5-on-5, they outplayed the Edmonton Oilers throughout the series, I thought. Even when trailing after 20 minutes and giving up the first goal in 5 of the 6 games, bounced back. Very resilient team. Here's a question for you. In the good, the bad, the oily, we left good open because I don't know what we want to tell people right now because obviously people are pissed off and they should be. The season ended earlier than they had hoped. Was there a good for you tonight?
Oh, man. I mean, Warren Foegele played great, and I think that's a guy right there who in the last couple of weeks probably took himself from a lock to get traded for nothing. Like, I mean, if you would ask me 6 weeks ago, hey, what are the Oilers going to do with Warren Foegele this offseason? I would have said, probably trade him for a 5th-round pick to some team that's willing to take him. And now he's probably played himself more to like, hey, I want that guy back. I want that guy on my team next year. So maybe Warren Foegele is a positive. Jack Campbell with his relief appearances, maybe that's a positive, but like, I don't know, man. You're grasping. You're grasping right now trying to find positives with this team. Here's a good. I can shave tomorrow.
Same.
Right? You guys got to get on that. You guys are looking
I got
gross.
a gnarly beard going here, which I would like actually to shave. So
yeah. Oz has got the good facial hair. But I mean, you'd barely be able to tell this is 8 days worth of hair growth.
I think you should keep it going here. Maybe a little off-season beard.
Almost as good as Nuges.
You know what, Tyler? Maybe after you shave, you head over to Oodle Noodle, any Edmonton or surrounding area location. You get some nudes. Pick up an Oilers Nation sticker. I mean, it's a tough loss, but the pain will go away, and Oilers fans will be ready to get hurt again and watch the Oilers and drive them crazy. So check out Oodle Noodle, any location in the city or surrounding areas. Pick up some noodles. You can pick up a free Oilers Nation sticker as well. We've got the Vegas trolls in the chat. I like it. Hey, you know what? Good luck, Vegas. We'll see what happens in the next couple rounds here. Good team, and they're able to do it. Stuart Skinner, he's taking some flack here. Tyler obviously pulled 3 times. Can't really sugarcoat that one. You love him to make a save. Factor in, he is young. He is a rookie. What did you make of Stuart Skinner in the playoffs here, especially this round?
Yeah, like he's their goalie of the future. Like, I mean, come on, people. You watch the regular season. You're not that. We don't need recency bias to be that intense. He's going to be their guy. Next year, he's going to start 50 to 55 games for this team. But the bottom line is he wasn't good enough. He was 890. If he was 900, if he was 905, the Edmonton Oilers are still playing hockey right now. The season's still alive. And I'm not one of those people that's always so like tiptoey around players' feelings or like, oh, he's a good guy, so I want to cut him some slack. Stuart Skinner is right near the top, if not at the top, for reasons this team is not playing hockey anymore. The reason why their season's over, he was average. If he was good, they're still rolling. And, he should have stopped that first one. I thought that one right there is like, hey, you have that. And listen, you can go through how many goals. He gave up 34 goals in 11 playoff games this season. You know what? I don't think any of them were terrible. I don't think he gave up one where you're like, good Lord, what is he doing on that goal? But you need him to stop some more. How many 10-bell saves did he have? Maybe 4 or 5, 7 over the course of the entire 11-game playoff run here? They needed him to give some A-plus periods, and they didn't get a single one out of him. Even in the game they win 5-1, it's like, okay, he played good. He stopped 25 of 26, but he was never good, and that's a big problem. But I'll add, he's not alone in that. This isn't me sitting there being like, oh, Stuart Skinner is the only guy who didn't show up. Brian Nugent-Hopkins, hello, second playoff run in a row where for 90% of the games, Nugent-Hopkins is invisible. Evander Kane, we got to have a Evander Kane conversation at some point in the next 2 weeks, and it's an ugly one because that dude got paid, didn't give a shit for the last 2 weeks. He was a goal a game last year, Connor, in the playoffs. How do you go from a goal a game to a non-factor? Complacency. Zach Hyman, it better come out that dude's arms were broken because he was a non-event. Cody Ceci might have been their worst defenseman, and that's saying something because Vinny Beauharnais exists. Just too many guys that were just passengers, man, and it's frustrating when a team in the West is so wide open. I know I'm ranting. I'm not even answering your questions anymore. I'm just openly venting to the 300 and some people watching this show.
Good content.
Man, like the West, the Seattle goddamn Kraken are a game away from being in the Western Conference Final, and the Oilers choked it away. God, I don't get it, man. I don't get it.
I don't either. It doesn't make sense at all. And I think, Stuart Skinner is in the NHL. He is subject to criticism. I know you can't put all the blame on him, but, the team as a whole, like even Leon Draisaitl, I thought on that second goal, like, what are you doing? You're letting Marchessault just coast past through the defense. Everyone's like, oh, what's Darnell Nurse doing? I'm like, Darnell Nurse is covering his man. He almost cleared the rebound. And then the third goal, like I thought that was a bit of luck, but you have to create puck luck. And the Vegas Golden Knights did a great job doing that. Sure, Skinner. I saw somebody on Twitter was like, "Oh, Skinner could have done better on the third goal." I'm like, "What?" So I don't know. It was just a team loss.
I saw people bring that up as well. Like, the Oilers aren't getting any puck luck. Well, there was 4 Oilers down low, and there was 2 Vegas Golden Knights. And the Golden Knights came away with the puck and created that opportunity. So honestly, there's time to. I feel like we haven't seen it since last year where they looked so lost in their own end and looked tired, looked lazy, not marking up simple things like that. And the Vegas Golden Knights certainly exposed them on that one.
I think what sucks is that it feels like they brought their worst hockey when it mattered most.
Yeah. I mean, this is a team that you're right. They walked into the playoffs on a 9-game heater. They were going toe-to-toe with the Bruins those 2 times. Like, they looked borderline unstoppable. And it's not like Seattle or it's not like Vegas or LA pushed them that hard. The Oilers just blew their foot off. They had every ability to win this hockey game tonight. All you had to do was not absolutely piss your pants for the last 2 second periods. If you bring your sea level in the 2 second, we're not even talking about the full 60 minutes anymore, Connor. If for the last 2 games, the Oilers bring their sea level in the second period, they've won the series. It's over. I'm not even here with you. I'm drinking at Greta still. But they fall apart. It's insane, man. It's just so infuriating to have to sink your teeth into that performance from tonight.
100%. And we talked about it. Game 5, Game 6, after 20 minutes, you're up 2-1. Both games in the second period, you give up 3 goals. Jonathan Marchessault with a hat trick there, natural hat trick. It was wild. And the Edmonton Oilers, they kind of imploded there. I'll say it again. I give Vegas a little bit of credit. They're a good team, but the Edmonton Oilers certainly came up short here in this one. Tyler, some good news, though, for the people out there. It's been a long hockey season. Hypothetically, you want to take a vacation, amatravel.ca/stream. the way to go. You can book cruises, you get travel insurance to help you out with that. There's packages, there's guided vacations, coach tours. Also, you can save on hotels, car rentals, attraction tickets. Check it out with amatravel.ca/stream. And Ty, you had a couple good trips out of this playoff run.
I did, and I'm very grateful for AMA Travel. And I'm thinking, Con, maybe me and you, AMA Travel, we book a little joint trip to LA, Bills Chargers in December. Who says no?
You know what? I mean, I think we should. Honestly, I want to go to a game in Buffalo. I want to jump through a table, just take it all in. You know, maybe get ketchup and mustard shot on me like that one guy. But we go to LA. Yeah, I mean, you've been down there now. You know the hot spots. We'll go to do a few things down there.
Why not? Why not? A little Disneyland and football. God, I'm just trying to now. Like, I mean, the people on YouTube tomorrow on Oilers Nation every day. I'm going to be way more composed than this. I think right now I'm riding the roller coaster. I'm going from like, oh God, the season's over. What are they going to do? To like, oh, the team's still good. Don't panic. I don't know.
I mean, look, it's going to transition into an interesting offseason, right? We know there's going to be a few players for the Edmonton Oilers. Like, I guess Evan Bouchard's going to be a storyline. There's a few players down in Bakersfield. Does Raphael Lavoie make the jump up next year, Ty? I mean, what's the biggest thing you're looking for this offseason?
Okay, well, let's look right now. So the roster the Oilers ran with tonight, if we'll take Niemelainen out of it, okay? So the 23-man roster the Oilers have right now, according to Cap Friendly. Both the goalies are back. We're looking at Bouchard is an RFA, every other D-man under contract. You're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, your 6, 7 highest paid forwards, all under contract. Holloway's going to make the jump up full-time next year. My problem is I'm not sure where the changes can come from. And it's interesting because you look at a group like Toronto, right? And it's like first round exit. And the Oilers, you know, they got a couple series wins under their belt. They went to the Western Conference Final last year. And in Toronto, you can kind of look at that core and go, boy, that core didn't give them enough. In Edmonton, you're not looking at McDavid and Draisaitl saying they didn't give you enough. I mean, let's be realistic. I know people are throwing everybody into the rumor mill right now, but you're not trading Hyman or Kane or Nuge or Nurse or Ekholm, who you just got, or Bouchard. Like, if you're Edmonton, you have no choice but to run back the core. You're not firing Woodcroft. I think even though I didn't like a few things he did tonight and during the series, I think for the most part, he's a really darn good NHL coach. So what's the play? You try to find someone, you know, convince Jim Rutherford to take Cody Ceci off your hands because he likes these guys. You move Kyler Yamamoto for a 3rd-round pick and try to spend that money elsewhere, or you use that money to sign Bukestad and Ryan. It's just, you look at this roster, and I said this at the start of the year, you're locked in. This is your core. This is your last McDavid and Draisaitl bet, and it's hinging on Hyman, Nuge, Kane, and the blue line you currently have being good enough. And you might be able to find a marginal upgrade on Cody Ceci. He was brutal this year.
I think it's the one guy's got to go. If there's one guy,
I'm with you, Waz. But again, like, I'm with you, buddy. How do you replace that at a decent salary? He makes $3.25 million. You're hooped. You move him, you got to replace him with a guy who's probably $6 million to get the upgrade you actually need. It's just a mess, man. And you're locked into this core. I hate to say it, because Connor, our business thrives on rumors and all this stuff and big trades and signings. It's going to be a boring ass summer in Edmonton, man.
It reminds me of the year I got hired on the Oilers Nation. We got swept by the Jets. It's like, what do we do for the rest of the summer? Just rumors.
Yeah, but I don't see a clear cut. Like, again, you move Yamo and you move Ceci and you got $6 million. I don't know what the move is. The free agent class sucks, man.
And you know what kind of also, sorry, Tyler, you know what kind of stings? We also don't have a 1st-round draft pick.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sorry to make things worse, but like
a 3rd or a 4th, yeah. No.
So,
or Reed Schaefer, you know.
Oh,
he's gone. Yeah, you got Matthias Ekholm.
Matthias Ekholm, it'll be interesting what the Oilers can do under a full season with him. Even Evan Bouchard, he's looking like he's really turning a corner. I hope that wasn't just a one-off playoff performance like we've seen with past Oilers. So it'll be interesting to see how this team kind of transitions in the next year. And of course, they're going to be hungry. They're going to want to be back in this position. It sucks in the moment right now.
Yeah. Tyler, was this a blown opportunity with these, Boston Bruins eliminated, the Colorado Avalanche eliminated. I mean, you got to think those teams are going to bounce back next year, and Colorado especially. We'll see what happens with their health. We know Landeskog's obviously out for the year, but when those two teams were knocked out, I thought in the back of my head it won't be easy, but this could be the path. This might be an easier route to the Cup final than other years. Did they miss out on something here?
Well, I mean, here I go again now, jumping down the hole of like just being negative. Like, Connor, we might look back at this season in 5, 6, 7 years if things, if you never get one, we'll probably look back at this year and go 150-point McDavid, 130-ish point Draisaitl, 100-point Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Colorado out, Boston out, Toronto out, Tampa out. This was it, man. This might have been it. Again, the playoffs are random. They're weird. You need the calls to go your way. You need bounces. You need your goalie to steal you games, and they really didn't get any of that. There were a lot of career years. There were a lot of things that really broke their way this year, and you didn't find a way to dig deep and get out of this series. I think this will be the year you look back on and go, that was the one. Like, that right there. The door was wide open, and they fell on their way up the stairs.
I mean, there will be people that say, hey, the goaltending obviously wasn't good enough. And when Ken Holland went out and signed Jack Campbell, obviously that was a guy who maybe it was the market, but thought that could help get them over the hump and have success throughout the playoffs. What's the biggest storyline for you going into the offseason here?
Biggest story going in the offseason will probably be, just like we mentioned, Cody Ceci, Kyler Yamamoto, finding ways to potentially fill those kind of shoes if we do get rid of them. Like basically how Tyler said, like it's not going to be easy. Like it's tough because the Oilers can't really do much with the cap space they have unless they trade somebody. And like, what are you getting back for Cody Ceci, right? Like, or for even, I mean, Kyler Yamamoto, they have to re-sign him, correct or no?
Oh, he's got one more year.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. So it's tough. It's tough to say. I also think going in maybe the next year, it's like, can Dylan Holloway actually take a big step and maybe fill Yamamoto's shoes in an offensive productive role, right? Like, it's the defense needs to be better going into next season. The goaltending, obviously, but Stuart Skinner, he showed that he can be a good goalie. It just, something about these playoffs didn't click.
It's tough being a goalie in like round one.
Yeah.
Guy, you look at him sitting on the bench. He got yanked 4 times in 11 games, and you hope it's just his first playoff run, because that guy was freaking nails down the stretch for this team. So you hope it's just a tough first playoff run. I really do believe that's all it is. I have so much faith in Stuart Skinner as this team's goalie going forward. I know someone was asking that in Facebook. They're like, is he really the guy? He's the guy. He's 100% the guy. It's just, it was a bad time for him to hit the skids.
Yeah, I mean, you brought it up. Like, was he shit? I wouldn't say so. Like, there was games where it was just you're trying to get the momentum back, like we saw against the LA Kings when it worked and Jack Campbell came in and was good. I thought a lot of the goals, like you said, you could use a big save, but a lot of the goals, were kind of with the play in front of him. It just didn't go his way. And I think confidence for Stuart Skinner should be high.
What was the last
trajectory he's had?
Yeah, what was the last time an Oilers goalie was nominated for Rookie of the Year? He's only 24. Like, there's still so much potential there, right? Like, it takes time for a goalie to really hit his peak, right? So it's like, and you never know. Jack Campbell could be turning a corner next year. He could be more prepared, right? Like, there are positives to look at. I know it's hard right now, but
yeah, and we'll do that in the coming days. But you're right, Waz, right? Like, Jack Campbell was great in his last 2 starts and then gave you 4 good relief appearances. Like, hey, maybe this was Jacob Markstrom in Calgary, right? That first year, good lord, was he terrible. And it was like, God, did we buy him out? What the hell did we do? Second year, he was Vezina quality. And I'm not going to sit here and like blow smoke to the fan base and be like, oh, Jack Campbell, Vezina quality next year. But like, he'll in all likelihood not be dog shit more or less every game. So like,
yeah,
positive.
He could bounce back. He's done it in his career. We know he's pretty streaky. We shall see. 364 people in the YouTube chat right now. Hit that like button. Go ahead,
Wes. It all feels so weird because we didn't expect to be here almost. Like, we expected to go to the conference finals again, push for the Stanley Cup finals, win a cup, especially with Boston, Tampa. And the playoffs in general are weird because you've had all these contenders eliminated so early, right? Like as soon as Boston got eliminated, I feel like there's no clear-cut favorite. Is it the Oilers? Is it the Maple Leafs? And now they're both out of the second round. I think the favorite right now is probably the Carolina Hurricanes.
I mean, Florida looks unreal.
Yeah.
Vintage Bob. Like you're right. It's a weird year.
So let's say I'll ask you both. I give you $10. You can head over to Betway. You can throw some money down. My money, $10 on one remaining team to win it all. You got to be 19 plus. You got to bet responsibly. Ty, where's the money going?
It's Florida, man. They got those vibes, right? Like you can't put your finger on it. It really doesn't make a ton of sense. I know they're dogs in their series against the Carolina Hurricanes on Betway, but what am I getting them at if I go? I'm going plus 333 on the Panthers. I'll turn that 10 into 44 or 43, and I'll buy a round of drinks after.
How about you, Waz?
My brain is saying the Carolina Hurricanes just because I think Brind'Amour has been a fantastic coach for them. He's been able to get the best lineup, and it's going to piss off some Oilers fans if they win the Stanley Cup.
You want to deal with Oilers Twitter when Puljujarvi gets
right?
I do not. I'm actively rooting against them so hard.
My brain says Carolina. My heart says the Kraken. That's a good story.
I like the Ebs one. Yeah, that's all right.
That'd be a fun one. Adam Larson as well. I think a lot of Oilers fans would be happy to see that. I'm with you, Ty, though. You got Vintage Bob back there, and Matthew Tkachuk. I know he's hated, but he's one of my favorite players to watch. I like what he does there.
My respect for Tkachuk has gone up since he joined Florida. So I'm like when he's saying in the press conferences, it's like that guy's he's very motivated.
100%. And Gavin, our producer, chiming in. I'm going to call this a little Fanalytics presented by Boston Pizza. Jack Campbell, his second year in LA, save percentage of .924, and his second year with the Leafs, he had a save percentage of .921. So, hey, second year in Edmonton, you get those types of numbers, I think that would go a long way. That's my Fanalytics presented by Boston Pizza, the new menu, the playoff menu. And I don't know, Ty, did you get a chance to go out and dabble in that playoff menu?
Yeah. Took my boy Christopher Palmer there for lunch the one day. The beer mosa slides down good. I mean, it sucks when hockey season ends, but I mean, it's the start of patio season, I guess, in Edmonton.
Mm-hmm.
You want me to keep trying to draw weird positives that no one probably wants to hear?
Fish bowls, man. Go have a couple fish bowls. Life will be okay. The Oilers will bounce back, and they're going to win the cup next year. They're going to use this. They're going to be fueled, Ty. They'll be motivated.
But, so I know I feel like it's so lame to do the next year's our year thing, right? But you look back at those prime Blackhawks years with Taves and Kane, right? They won what? 3? They won 3 cups. That is unbelievable. You won 3 cups in 15 years. That means there was 12 shit years in there, right? The Penguins went almost a decade. They went almost a decade, then got their back-to-backs, or 8 years. Like a lot of bad years mixed in there. How many years did the Capitals have to run it back?
Thank you.
Same core of Alex Ovechkin, Nicholas Backstrom, John Carlson, and that crew until it finally clicked in. Like, this stuff sucks, man. Sports is designed to rip your heart out. Your team, if you're lucky in your lifetime, is going to win in your lifetime. If you die of old age at 90-some, your favorite team's going to win you like 3 or 4 championships. Like, it's built to have these moments where it flat out sucks. And right now, it flat out sucks.
Tyler, I don't know if you were here earlier when I mentioned the Colorado Avalanche in 2021. When they won their division, they were top. They were a cup favorite in 2021, and they lost in the second round to the Golden Knights. And McKinnon comes out and says, "I'm going to my 9th year, and I haven't won shit." The next year after, they steamroll everybody and win the cup. So it's
and that's a great point, Waz. You just never know when it's going to click in, right? And you never know when the bounces go your way and a playoff run just happens. Like, I know it's lame as shit, and I get a bunch of you in the chat don't want to hear this right now, and I see one comment from Kyle. The Pacific Division is stacked. Sure, I guess. I don't think Vegas is getting better. I don't think Seattle's getting better. Calgary's not getting better. Vancouver's not getting better. Like, they're good teams in every division. You got to beat good teams to be a good team. I'm not sitting here shaking in my boots about really anyone. So they'll have the doors there next year. Like, it's maybe not as wide open as it was this year, but this team still has a chance.
I think it really depends on how.
again, like you're the Leafs, you're staring down the barrel of Austin Matthews walking to free agency in 12 months. You're talking about firing your coach and doing that song and dance again. You're talking about firing your GM and doing that song and dance again. The Oilers have this stability about them. You know, you're not trading a core piece. You're not doing anything stupid this offseason. You're running it back. And this team showed this year they're a good hockey team. They showed last year they can go on a deep run. It's not, right now it's doom and gloom. Tomorrow the sun will come up. We'll be sad as shit probably. The day after that, you'll sit there and go, damn, I can't wait for next year because we still got a really, really good team here.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was going to say. I mean, you're going to come back. You're going to have McDavid. You're going to have Draisaitl. You're going to have Hyman, Nuge, Kane. You're going to have Bouchard. And you're going to be optimistic. There's probably going to be some new faces. We shall see what happens. But, yeah, right now, be pissed off. Be disappointed.
I think, it just depends on how the team responds next year, right? Like, I hope we have a consistent year. Like, we had so many ups and downs at the beginning of the year. And, like, you know, a few of those, if we could have had a few more wins in November, October, December, we would have won the Pacific Division. But it's like
you're at home for Game 5, home for a potential Game 7. Yeah.
Austin says, "Wait, Tyler hasn't shaved." Whoa.
Bro, you're telling me.
I can see it coming in there. Well, you know what? Hey, Ty, thanks for hopping on today, man. I know you were coming back from the game, probably disappointing. What was the mood like on the walk out of the rink?
Yeah, not great. A lot of people kind of just wondering what's next for this team. And listen, as much as I don't think there's going to be sweeping changes to the roster, I still think we'll have something to chew on here in the next couple of weeks. I just think something will give. You got to do something to show the fan base that it's a little unacceptable. So we'll see what they do.
Just sucks looking at how it's May 14th and we have to wait until July. Like, it sucks.
It's brutal, man.
Now, what's coming up on Oilers Nation Every Day tomorrow at noon? You guys have Sean Bell in with you?
Yeah, well, I think we'll have Bellsy in to kind of chat about that, and then it's post-mortem on the season, man. Like, it's time to dig into what went wrong and dig into what's coming next. And I just plan on leaning on the chat tomorrow. That's really all that matters, is how the people here on the Oilers Nation YouTube feel about the team. It's gonna not be a fun 6 weeks. I mean, it's gonna be digging in and talking about a lot of stuff that's way less fun than playoff hockey, Connor. But yeah, live every day, noon Mountain Time. We'll keep rolling until after free agency. We're not stopping.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say what you're going to experience, but Ty, I think you're going to get some Hyman and Kane and Nuge. Kane, you're going to get Yamamoto trade, a Bouchard contract. Probably get a few people that want to fire Jay Woodcroft and Ken Holland. I think that'll creep in a little bit, and you guys will be there to talk them off the edge. So noon tomorrow, your Chuck, Liam, potentially Sean Bell. Who else you got with you? Is Jay going to drop by?
I don't know about Jay. We'll probably get a couple of Saravalli appearances in the next week because we need his insight right now and his insider info. So a little bit of Saravalli coming up in the next week, and yeah, we'll start talking about what's next for this Oilers team, man.
It's going to be a unique offseason. It's been a long time since I think we have an offseason that felt this way. Your Chuck Waz, thanks for doing this tonight.
Thanks, Connor.
Before we wrap up here, just want to
the After Dark host this year as well. This is something new we started this season. You took on something that had no following. It was just a brand new thing, and you absolutely killed it, buddy. So appreciate all your hard work.
Well, thank you. And I want to give a quick shout out to Cornerstone Insurance. Of course, they've been here from the start with the good, the bad, the oily. Our title sponsor, of course, Boston Pizza. The Oilers are out, but as I said, you can still go to BP's, watch some hockey, take advantage of the new playoff menu powered by Fanalytics. They got some great stuff there. AMA Travel, Nation Gear, nationgear.ca. Make sure you go grab some Oilers Nation stuff. Rock that throughout the offseason. For AMA Travel, it's amatravel.ca/dream. You can go to Greta if you want to watch some more playoff hockey. Have some great food down there, great atmosphere. And Oodle Noodle. Of course, you can go to Oodle Noodle, get some noodles tomorrow, get an Oilers Nation sticker, throw it on your vehicle, and you'll enjoy that one. And one more time for Wilhauk Beef Jerky, Edmonton's best beef jerky. They'll take orders of any size. It's the finest tasting jerky and only the best meats make it to the Wilhauk name. Find out more at wilhaukbeefjerky.com. I got to give a quick thank you to you, Tyler, for giving me the opportunity to do this. Really appreciate it. We wanted to get it going a little earlier. It took some time to make it all happen, but we got it done, and it's worked out great. It's been awesome. So Yaremchuk, thank you. Our producers, Aaron and Gavin, who did a great job throughout this season. Jay, Bag Milk, Liam, Waz, Cam, Zach, and Dan. I think that's all the guests we've had on this show. I appreciate you guys all hopping on. And to the listeners, the followers, everyone, like Tyler said, man, you guys keep the content going with your comments. So thank you to all of you for tuning in. And let's do it again. Let's do it again next year. Hopefully we can have a lot of fun here and maybe a bit of a longer playoff run. I'm Connor Halley. For everyone at Oilers Nation, thank you guys for tuning in tonight and throughout the season. We will talk to you in the fall.